just concerning Reckful, or like as he's legally known, Brian Bernstein. So very like unfortunate circumstances. Passed away this year, and as always, they go along with these kind of segments. If you are struggling, make sure you do reach out to, your country's corresponding helplines. So like in Australia, Beyond Blue is one of the main ones that you'd reach out to. But yeah, like we just want to discuss, the situation that's happening with this former streamer, Reckful, that his channel is actually still active on Twitch. And I was actually on it the other day, and there was still like 160 people on it, which is for Twitch not a low number. Like, yes, it's not like the thousands that he would have had previously. And, he was a very famous WoW player, like number one in the world actually, and would build like, characters that basically were not optimal just to prove a point that he's still number one. So quite an interesting character. But yeah, like it's just such an interesting situation. I'm not sure like what your thoughts are about it. There's a bit to get into in this one.
Yeah, so his channel is still active, and it's playing reruns of his VODs or past streams. And initially, when Kotaku had a big article on this, and when they start talking about it, you're like, wait, what a second. But then when you find out that that's actually what he had requested in the event that anything happened to him, is that he wanted his channel to go on. I don't know how specific he got, but I'd imagine it probably said by playing, VODs and stuff. And so he's got like a lot of big Twitch channels. He's got mods that that help out, and they've obviously they don't have full access to his channel, but they can at least assist in actually getting that stuff to play and take the place of obviously what would have been his live streams. So I'm really kind of it's as you said, it's a tricky thing, because if it wasn't for him requesting this, I would have been like, no, I don't feel that's right at all. But this is honoring his wishes, which at that point, what can you do? You have to kind of, if possible, honor his wishes. I don't know how much work it involves from those mods, and at some point, how long do they have to? Are they burdened by, not burdened, but how long are they kind of responsible for helping out with this? Maybe they want to keep trying, but from that article, it's pretty tough on them as well, because they're obviously huge fans, and to it, it's, I think the thing I really like about this is that he was very open, and I say this from the article, I didn't watch him at the time, but he's very open about his struggles with mental health, and I think it seems like has a lot of positives for people that kind of also help them be more open about it, and obviously raise awareness about mental health problems, which are obviously a huge issue worldwide. But also there's part of me that's like, it's very strange, and especially when you start talking about that, apparently still has a paid functionality on the channel, and Twitch have said that wherever possible they will provide access to that to family members, because I'm sure this is not, it's obviously not probably the first time that a streamer has passed away, but I don't know if this is the biggest profile one we've heard about. Obviously, we had Etika, the Nintendo streamer, very popular in the Smash Brothers community, pass away. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I actually used to watch a lot of Etika's stuff. So I'm not sure what happened, and we should know what probably happens in the event when that happens, and if they pass the details on to the family or not. But it does seem a bit odd to me that Twitch just automatically doesn't kind of disable that stuff. But other than that, outside of that whole thing, which is probably a very complicated situation, if it really helps a lot of people come to grip with his passing, and also helps provide support for anyone that struggled from mental health as well as he did, then I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
very complicated. It's very complicated.
It is, and Etika was last year, and I definitely think that this this streamer was probably the most high profile streamer where this situation is eventuated, and it's starting to become an all too familiar situation, and probably reflective that the leading cause of death, when you look at people who are like 16 to 28, is by their own hands, unfortunately. So given that streamers are generally in that demo as well, it's probably something that when you think through it, probably is not as surprising as it feels. I must admit, like when I saw this without knowing the details, like I did feel like it was in poor taste, at a minimum. And then started to learn more about it, and it's vexed, right? It's massive that the fact that he's like, hey, I want this to continue, like that's just something you need to consider. And then I don't know what the family situation is, right? Like not everyone's well off, and who knows, maybe it's helping to support his family, or because he also had a kid from memory. So like as a dad myself, like that's massive, right? If that's something where you look at it and you go, well, it's still supporting them, that's critical. Like, what, you want to take food out of their mouths just because, it's bad taste or something like that. I don't think that's right either.
And you see this a lot with the wrestling industry has a lot of people that pass away very young, for various
Yeah.
reasons, and a lot of the time you'll see GoFundMe's and you'll see charity things that are raised in support of the families. So I definitely agree, that it's important in that regard. If there's money flowing into that channel, that it does reach them.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that's just so sad and unfortunate. And, like mental health is, I'm so glad we're in a spot where even like me in my work, I just work in a, professional company. I've seen a sea change since I started working in people talking about this issue, like to the point where people actually are now comfortable enough to say, I need a break. Like I need like a mental health break, for a month or whatever. Like that's not actually seen as you do that and your career's over. Now, honestly, still is like at the upper echelons, one of those things where career's not over, but it's probably effectively over if you want to keep moving up the chain. But I mean, compared to what it was before, where it was like they'd probably try to actively get rid of people in these situations. Yeah, it's just such an unfortunate situation, and I don't even know where I land on it, to be honest. Like it's kind of one that I don't even want to think about. Like if I was the mods of Twitch, I'd just be like, Jesus, this is a tough one to assess.
Going back to Etika, because I don't watch a lot of Twitch streamers, but he's one of the few that I have actually watched on Twitch in the past. And I remember, I used to watch a lot of his YouTube content. Obviously, his Smash reactions, we went through our reactions to Smash trailers. He's legendary for, for just how excited he got. I remember staying up watching like an all-night stream he did before the launch of Smash 4 and just seeing like all the information come out because I had live demos of the 3DS version for the first time. And so I was watching his live streams and everything, and I remember when reports started coming out about his behavior and the issues he was having. I remember actually watching him on Twitch a little bit, and now I just, there's that guilt part of me. It's like it was almost like watching someone that was unfortunately, the process of kind of losing their way, and it's now I can't watch anything from him without kind of thinking about that. And that's where I think it comes back to Reckful, is that I hope that this doesn't kind of have that impact on people. I hope that, for people that don't want to be reminded of his passing, that they don't have to see it pop up all the time, or I'm sure obviously they could unsubscribe, but then they may feel that they're actually letting him down by unsubscribing from his channel. So then they'd see his stream pop up on the home. I'm not sure. I don't use Twitch enough, but I'm sure then they'd see that, this person is live, or this person thing is,
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it'd be a constant reminder in a situation where you may not want to be, but obviously if that's honoring what he wants. And for some people, they really like this and use it as a celebration of his legacy. Then it's a good thing. But I think it is, it's very complicated. I think it can have both positive and negative impacts on the people that followed him. But ultimately, if they can honor his wishes, then that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, and I think that's a massive thing with mental health, because there's a huge debate. Just chatting at work to some mental health professionals, not about me personally, but just like that concept. And we have people that present to wider teams, and just there is a debate raging on about how people talk about it. I think you and I have been very careful and as delicate as we can be to discuss this issue. And again, if you are struggling with these things, there are places that can help. And one thing I would say is, don't just rely on friends. Like, friends are important, family's important, but they're not mental health professionals. And my brother-in-law, he is a mental health professional, and he's had like 10 years of training. Like, it's not something that you can just lean on mates and then they can get you through it sometimes. Like, some of these things there are drivers, deep drivers, because of this. And it's just not something that many people are equipped to help you with. So there are plenty of places, in Australia, Lifeline's one of them, but there is this debate about how people talk about it, and, is it positive or negative, kind of being so sensitive about it rather than being more direct about what it is and, the impacts that it has on people. It's a tough one, and it's a real sad situation. And I do hope with time, with more and more people openly discussing mental health issues, that people feel more comfortable reaching out earlier and hopefully preventing some of these situations from occurring. So yes, no, sad situation, and pretty complex one actually.